Okay, hey YouTube. Recently somebody bought me a gift off of my Amazon wishlist, and they asked me to make a video. And so the question that they wanted me to address was, how do you know that you are trans versus it being something else? And so I said, well, what would the something else be? Can you give me an example? And they said, well, how do you know that you're trans versus you're just a cross-dresser, or it's just some sort of other condition, mental, psychological, whatever, that forces you to maybe, or leads you to act out this way rather than you're actually trans. And I think that there's probably a couple of things going on in those scenarios where I think part of it is, where we like to be certain that what we are doing is right. And we tend to doubt ourselves to some extent in our decision-making capabilities. And so with something like transition or being trans, those doubts really grow quite a bit, and that desire to be certain of our decision is sort of amplified because of the social cost, because of the physical cost, because of the monetary, transition is expensive both in time, money, effort, everything. And so it sort of puts this decision to transition, I guess, under a bigger microscope or magnifying lens, whatever, because you scrutinize this a little bit more than you would going out and buying a new pair of pants or something like that. And so I think the first part is, nothing in life is certain except for death. And then, maybe you can take the Benjamin Franklin approach and say that, well, the only two certainties in life are death and taxes. But the idea is that really everything else is flexible. Nothing else is really written in stone. And so if you think you're trans, then you probably are, but you're going to doubt that for a while because all sorts of reasons. You're going to try to talk yourself out of transition because some amount of doubt is perfectly normal and is perfectly healthy, because that doubt is what keeps you from, making stupid decisions. But at the same time, if you listen to the doubt too much, eventually it prevents you from making any decision whatsoever, because you'll think, well, what if it's X, what if it's Y, what if it's Z? And you'll spend a lot of time trying to do X, Y, or Z, whether that's joining the military, getting married, having kids, working out, getting a better job, all sorts of things, because you feel like if you do X, Y, and Z, you don't have to transition, or you won't have to transition, or whatever. Or you think that maybe it is because of, A, B, or C, and that's why you are cross-dressing or expressing these cross-gender feelings or whatever, when the reality is that it's probably because you're trans. And just like a parent constantly asks, are they doing everything they can? Are they doing the right things? Are they being a good parent? They doubt their parenting skills. So too do I think transitioners or trans people doubt their transitions. They doubt how they feel about things. They doubt because humans do that. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's healthy to a certain extent, but eventually, you're going to realize that you're expressing these cross-gender feelings because you're trans, and cross-dressing won't be enough. Just taking hormones won't be enough. Eventually, nothing will be enough except for actually transitioning. And you can take the path of exhaust every other option before you get there, or you can take a leap of faith and believe that what you're doing is the right thing. And as long as you kind of take your time through transition, you don't rush things, you won't have a lot of regrets, and you won't doubt that you're doing the right thing, because it will become pretty apparent pretty quickly in most cases.